In this video today, we're going to walk through a basic support and resistance strategy. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be teaching you this with one of my indicators that I developed. And so if you're interested in this, I call it the Magnet Zone indicator. There'll be a link in the description. Go ahead and check it out there. But I just wanted to briefly cover exactly how this basic support resistance strategy works. So here we go. So I'm actually use a live trade breakout that just happened 4 hours ago, and this is on Disney. So Disney just broke out, and it has been pretty much sideways for quite a while. It is the 10th of June here, and it's 26 here. So it's a good 20 or so days. Well, the math there is about 16 days. Let's just say that. So about 16 days, it's been going pretty much sideways here. So you can see that at the top right here, sideways. Try to get it there again. Kind of just hanging out. Actually, it looked like there was even like a little bottom channel right there, and there was, in fact, a nice little breakout in this position there. So that would have been a nice little trade right there. But the big key level that we were focused on right here was 119, about 120. And this was a big factor. This was a big level. And so basically what what my indicator did here is it just had this zone. And so basically, if price would come into this zone and break out, this is a position where we were going to take a buy trade. So we waited quite a while. Like I said, this was 16 days. So this is a 16-day period, and we are on the hourly chart. And so I like the you could trade all the time frames from the minute all the way to the daily. It doesn't really matter. But I prefer the hourly charts with support resistance for this kind of strategy. So how can you find support? How can you find resistance? The easiest thing to do is to draw these lines. And so draw a line. So when you get in a position where let's just run through a basic a breakout. So this was actually already a breakout. This would have been our first breakout, and the indicator spotted that one, took it. And but let's actually go ahead and let's just say we're right here. Okay, so we're right here on the chart. So you're going to want to draw a line once it pulls back at the very top of the wick, right? The very top of the wick, the highest wick there is. Once we get a nice little pullback right there, and you'll see that the indicator right there. So that's exactly what this would have automatically done, right? So I'm not even going to bother drawing a line because it's already there. So now you have a resistance point. So now we have also a support zone. So now this previous line down here is support. The line above is resistance. So if you were in a position, let's just say we didn't have the indicator right here, you're going to have a line drawn right here, and then you're simply just going to draw pretty much the exact same scenario. So right, this was a high and then it dropped down. You're going to do the exact same scenario on the downside. Again, I'm just going to have this drawn for me because it's automated on the chart. And so now we have support. Now we have resistance. So now there is two places for this to go, up here or down here, right? That's really all we're interested in. This would have been a nice trade. We probably would have had a stop loss right there, and probably had probably grabbed our profits right there. I teach that inside our with our members, and I have a 2-to-1 strategy. So, but basically, you'd have been getting out somewhere in this exact level right there. So, essentially, you're out of a trade right now. You don't have a trade. So let's just go ahead. Let's just keep running through, and so you see that there. This touched the zone, well, almost touched the zone right there. We're still not interested. We're still not going to be trading this. What we want to wait for is you want to wait for price to come through, come up, tag this, and then a candle. It needs to close above this, right? So basically a candle like that. We need to have it close above this. And this isn't just at the top. I actually have a zone here. So it needs to cross above this zone. That's why we have a nice little buffer area, because sometimes, a lot of the times you'll get fake outs. And so there'll be fake outs up here. So it's why it's a position. That's why it's nice to have a little bit of a buffer zone. So if you are doing this by yourself now, I actually probably should tell you that you're going to need to make sure that you wait for price confirmation. And so say you only have your single line, right? Your single line right here. So you're still going to want to wait for price to come above this. And it doesn't need basically I have the automated zone for me. So but basically you want it somewhere. Let's just draw another line right here. So you want to have a little zone. You want to have a little buffer area, because if it does come up here and touch it, it could do something like this and come right back down. So you want to have it just above this, right? And if you get a candle that closes above, then that is a confirmation to for a buy position. So again, let's put the tool back on the chart, just because it just makes it a lot easier to spot these trades. And let's keep going. So we are still in no we're still in no position right here. We're still, and what I really like to call, or what I really like to do here is, well, obviously is nothing, but I call this basically a dead zone. Chop. We're chopping. There's strategies that are that you can actually win inside here, and you can actually take debit spreads, things like that. That's a different strategy, and that's a different approach. Maybe I could teach at some point at a later date. But this one in particular is going to be focused on bounces and breakouts. So we are looking for a breakout above this zone. So remember that. So, and there's also a lot of other things you could do at these zones, but we're just going to focus on one trade at a time. This trade, we are going to focus on a breakout of a resistance level. So let's keep going. All right, so now we have another. So we actually have two zones here that is very critical. That that if it breaks it, then that's going to be a very solid position for a buy. So it did have this. I don't even know what that line was for. Let me actually delete that, because I'm not sure what that was even about there. But let's just keep this rolling. And so basically now we're going to wait for price to come up here or come down here. These are our two zones that we really are focused on. And in fact, now we actually have another zone that we're going to be keeping an eye on. But now, if you notice, and I actually stopped this at the perfect point, so we got to close here. So notice how this was a fake out, right? And this is why it is important to have a zone. Because if you don't have a zone, if you just have a line down here, sometimes these candles will basically get faked out. And so you need to get confirmation. And so there we go. So the next candle came and printed, and now it is a confirmed breakout. And then we are, how many candles later? Yeah, we're 1, 2, 3, 4. So this literally just happened 4 hours ago. And so yeah, so very simple terms. This was a breakout resistance strategy. So again, remember, resistance is always going to be above where you currently are. So right now, this is now considered support. So if price does come all the way back down here, it could potentially bounce. And so that's going to basically be a floor, right? It's going to be a floor for it. And then, so that's a great spot to have your stop loss below this level. So you'll have a stop loss somewhere in this range right here. So you want to have give yourself a little bit of cushion, right? You still want to go below this zone. Just give yourself a little bit of cushion, and then do something like that where it's a 2 to 1. You could even go higher, 3 to 1, 4 to 1, 5 to 1. But 2 to 1 is probably the smallest that I would go for that. So that is hopefully that was explained well enough for a basic support or resistance strategy. This in particular one, this was a resistance breakout. And so there's also bounces that you could do. So essentially, if this would not close above this and then it's bounce, you can actually bounce this and go for a put, or go for a sell to the downside. So there's a couple different options that you can do. And but this in particular one, really great support, really great resistance kind of strategy. And having a tool like this makes it just that much easier to do. So again, if you are interested, like I said, it's going to be in the description below. You don't have to have it. There's some comments that were like, oh, this is you didn't explain it enough, or I don't need these tools. Great, awesome. I'm glad that nobody, like, honestly, like, if you don't need these tools. So if you are in a position where you're like, well, I'm not gonna invest in anything like that, that's okay, right? And that's why we have videos like this to explain exactly what to do. You are more than welcome to spend, hundreds of hours developing something like this that prints specific zones, it gives you alerts in Telegram, that does a bunch of other really cool, unique things. that's all on you. That's great if you can do that. But if you don't need that and you just need a couple lines of your chart, also perfect. So awesome. And I just wanted to point that out as well, just because, sometimes folks will be like, well, I don't need this tool. Great. I'm glad that you don't need anything like that. That is amazing. And I'm glad that you have a strategy that is working for you. So, all right, with that being said, this was just a quick little review video of the Mag Zone, and I hope you guys like it. If you jump in, if not, enjoy this quick little resistance strategy. If you have any questions about it, be sure to let me know in the comments below.